All right, so this is Joey was supposed to be here again, but like you, he had a crazy 24 hours.
Maybe he'll get third time's the charm on the next one, third video we do.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he's building the studio in his room, and we're supposed to be doing this there, but he
yeah,
keeps fucking
yeah. I mean, like I said, like anytime like he has stuff in there or can't do it here, we can just do it
yeah.
here. I mean,
It's a
bought this couch for a reason. Got to show it off a little
good,
bit. It's
good
nice and
casting couch.
comfortable and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. So I was asking you, how much did it knock off the price for mortgage with the 100% VA?
So when I bought the house, I wasn't 100% yet, so I was paying around 1750, and that's insurance, that's
Okay,
taxes,
yeah, yeah,
everything built into the mortgage. And then once I got that tax break to where I didn't have to pay property taxes anymore, it bumped it down to about 1350.
that's nice, man.
So
Yeah, so
about $400. So I mean that
yeah,
definitely helps out a lot. It helps
yeah,
me put money away for sure. But
yeah. So when it was COVID, I did what you did. But take the remote BAH that we're taking. So I went back to Texas. And I was getting paid 3,000. When the BH here, I believe, was at 22, and so I was like, hell yeah, dude, living like a king in Austin, right?
yeah,
So
oh, I
when I
like
had
the
to go
tax
back,
exemption.
yeah, when I had to go back, the wife got a job here as a firefighter. So even though we're making like a buttload of money, we are paying for two locations because she had to go through her academy and shit. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, this sucks. Like making like well over or not well over six figures, making over a hundred thousand, and it was like, this is crazy, dude. I've never thought this would happen
yeah,
in my military career, and then yeah, spending it all on like two places. That and I made a lot of bad investments on option trading. If you guys don't know what option trading is, it's trying to leverage your option trading stocks. And unlike stocks, it's really hard for stocks to go to zero, like really really hard, especially if you trade off the Nasdaq. But if you do option trading, then you're playing against time decay, and I ended up losing like $50,000.
really.
So yeah, yeah. So it
So
was
I just got into crypto actually
oh,
like
dude,
right before the election was kind of
yeah.
decided. I really thought Trump was going to win,
Mm.
so I put a couple $1,000 down on Trump on Robinhood,
Okay, you did that.
cashed that out, doubled my money,
Yeah.
put it into this meme coin called Dogecoin. It went up from like 79 cents all the way to about $1.30. Cashed that out,
Hmm.
and then I put it into XRP. And XRP, I think I'm up like 8,000 right now. So I
Dude, that's
mean,
nice.
obviously I have to pay the taxes on what
Yeah.
I cashed out, but I mean, the return on investment, like in the past 3 months,
Yeah,
really
you're not
is.
supposed to pay taxes unless you create fiat. So if you cash it out like to USD, then you pay the taxes. But if you trade it into another coin, you're just
That's the thing.
you did.
I think I
Okay.
cashed it out. I'm assuming
Yeah.
I cashed it out. I mean, I don't really know
Yeah,
too much on it.
those crypto days are wild. I remember same thing, right? That's what probably like got me this gambling personality to like keep throwing money at it.
Yeah,
Which is another thing. Like if you because of like the GI Bill, the VA, and all that, I didn't respect how much I was making, so I was like fucking throwing at it, you know. But before I lost 50K on hard cash, I did gain like 30K, right, on like unrealized profit. I just didn't cash out, so I was like, it's gonna come back.
yeah.
GameStop's gonna
Got to
skyrocket
stay in the
again.
boat.
Yeah, RKT is gonna fucking rocket again, you know. Gone are the days of making like 3 to 5x on like an option day trade.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know. Trump's back, so it's just gonna get wild.
Oh, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you were in there before the hype, because once the hype gets there, I feel like it's either hit or miss, you know. But like, if you can kind of get like insider advice or kind of
Yeah.
like know legislation that's about to pass, or kind of like just do your own research instead of just, oh, this is going up. Let me buy here, and then as soon as you buy, you get rug pulled, and
Yeah.
some guy takes out millions of the coins you just invested in.
Yeah, yeah. That's so I have like two accounts now for the crypto stuff. I do one where I just long term. The entire goal of that is to be able to take out a loan on it, which you can do for I think 1 to 2%. That's a guaranteed loan, 50% of your assets, and you use that for a down payment on a house, right? And then my other account, which is way smaller, I just use it for like crypto trading, which is like the wild, Elon tokens,
Yeah.
fucking the what is it, Pancake Swap, all that stuff
Yeah.
on Binance, which you can't even do anymore without a VPN. Which you have to like dive into that world,
Yeah.
get a VPN, a bunch of like
Weren't there a
weird.
bunch of people getting VPNs for TikTok and all that?
Yeah, yeah. I think you had to. It didn't matter if your app store was American though.
Okay.
I think
Did you see people are selling their phones that have the TikTok
that's crazy.
downloaded on it still for
ten
like
thousand
40?
dollars.
I saw 40. I don't know how true.
Really?
That sounds ridiculously high,
Yeah.
but I mean that could totally be fake. But I mean, thousands of
Yeah.
dollars, and it's like I asked my girlfriend last night. I was like, "You still have TikTok on your phone?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh yeah, we're rich," but no, she didn't want to sell it. So, but that's crazy to think about how like addicted people can get to an app to where they're willing to just kind of like make a bad financial decision.
I have to imagine it was for content creators,
Probably, yeah.
right? Kind of like Pokemon. Like remember that whole trend when Pokemon became like super famous,
Yeah.
which all ended up being just because Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a mastermind at like marketing, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But, like-
people that hate him so much, like they don't understand like
Yeah.
how genius he is
Yeah.
at marketing. Like, yeah, you want to see him get knocked out, but
Yeah,
the reason you want to see him get knocked out is the reason you're willing to watch it. You know, so
he's reselling water. Think about that. Like
Yeah.
he's reselling water and it made more money than I believe Body Armor and Dejani. So
believe
like
it.
crazy within his first year.
yeah, he's got a
Right?
great marketing team.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like Pokemon, all he did was market it so he could sell his like Charizard thing.
Oh, that
Or-
was Logan, right?
Or my bad, one of the Paul brothers.
The crypto zoo.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And then I guess it crashed out, and all these people were pissed at
Yeah.
it because they lost all their money. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think anything ever happened to him. We didn't have to pay a settlement.
So if you guys follow CoffeeZilla on YouTube, he is a great like YouTube investigator, I guess you can call him.
yeah,
Went into some like really good scandals, I suppose. Like the Paul brothers, one of them. Crypto Z was a big one where he interviews people who were investing in his company, and they talk about how like he hyped it up, and then they talk about he's really good at like look at the wallets. So wallet auditing is a thing with crypto. People think that crypto is like anonymous. It's not. It's pseudo anonymous, which means once someone has your blockchain ID, they can look at every transaction that you do from that point on. Once your wallet's been identified, you can just go on the blockchain, find that wallet, and you can see what that wallet's been doing. Right? So it's pseudo anonymous. So people don't understand that, which is
Yeah.
why people who have lots of assets have like a dozen wallets, right? Well, he did the research and like found out that Paul, I don't want to mess this up, but essentially his team had rug pulled it, right? They sold some weird shit. They sold to like some private investors that was like in the team without telling anybody, at like a discounted price, so that when they peaked, they sold like $1 million of assets, made a whole bunch of money, kind of like the Haktua girl.
I was literally getting
Yeah.
ready to say that. Like, I have not seen her. So she released a coin, and days. No, it might have been the same day. All these people put thousands, millions of dollars into this coin, and the developers of the coin used her clout to
Yeah.
kind of make people buy it.
Yeah,
They rug pulled everyone, and then they tried to walk it back and say, "Oh no, none of the team stole the coin."
yeah,
She has not posted. I have not seen from her. There's no podcast, no YouTube videos, no social media. She's completely disappeared, and I'm assuming that's because her lawyer said, like,
Bro,
let's not say anything.
the
until this
the
is
Trump
out.
crypto era of 2016 to 2020 was wild.
It was.
Just like, yo, if you had a fat ass and a big following, you could push out a crypto coin.
Because it got down to 10,000 there in 21 or 22.
What
'Cause
did
it was at 60,000 when we got back from
Oh, Bitcoin?
overseas. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it crashed back down to 10 because the SEC was trying to put regulations on it. That ended up failing down the road, and
Yeah.
now crypto's just
Yeah, well, I'll talk
104,000,
about
I
like
think it was.
NFTs. Remember that?
oh
They're still kind of around. So there's but I remember that was like what's that porn star's name with the heart on the butt cheek? Lana Rhodes, so, an icon of our youth, really. But yeah, she had like pumped and dumped a meme coin as well, and like it was just a classical thing. Like if you had any kind of fame, you pushed out a meme coin, you pumped it up, and you rug pulled
yeah.
every single time. NFTs were a bit more like they're more a bit like meme coins were scams behind the scenes. NFTs you knew it was a scam up front.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, when you think about like all these content creators and the clout that they get, they have a team. Like you guys got to understand. You might not think about it, but it's not just them posting their phone up when like they have a team, and especially with OnlyFans, if you see these girls that are making millions of
Yeah.
dollars a month in subscriptions, they'll have a like kind of like a chat site to where they can chat one-on-one with
Yeah.
the girl. It'll be some random guy that's chatting and acting like this girl to some 19, 20-year-old kid who,
Yeah.
probably has social anxiety, never gets any type of...
Andrew Tate says that, and everyone kind of like ignores that he says that. I'm like, that's kind of weird, man.
Yeah.
This dude's like beating his meat to you, and you're like, give me all your money, daddy.
Yeah,
Like,
I honestly never thought of it like that. I mean, I've never put my money in something
Yeah.
that you can just get on the computer for free. But what do
Yeah.
you think about Pornhub being banned
in Texas,
in Texas? I think Florida now.
I think people are gonna get creative and find it anyways.
Did-
If not,
Did you see the reasoning behind it?
Yeah, it was like, what is it? Sexual exploitation of minors, right?
So the state of Texas
Hmm.
said in order to stay up in our state, you have to have an age verification
Yeah,
to where only people that are 18 can
yeah,
come in. Pornhub decided that was the hill they wanted to die on, and
yeah,
they're like, to me, it's like, no, we'd rather kids watch our porn. You know, like to me, that was
yeah. I think it's weird. I mean, even
porn's been so glorified in American culture in the past 20 years to where
I,
I mean,
I think it's reaching a pendulum swing.
it's a get rich quick scheme. I mean, people
Yeah,
see it. I mean,
I think it was again. I think it was really bad at the end of the Trump, like the beginning of the Biden era. You would see like your fucking friend on it, and now I know. Now women know what it's like to be a SoundCloud rapper. By the way,
right?
like,
No,
dude,
I had a
nothing
girl.
sucks more than selling your kitty for $2.99 and nobody wanting it.
So here's the thing. I had a girl on my Snapchat that was from back home in Illinois, small town school. So like OnlyFans, pornography, that's
Yeah,
not even heard of because if
hmm,
you do something like that, the whole town's gonna know.
yeah.
She's posting links to her OnlyFans, and it's a free subscription. Like you don't even pay. And I'm like, you're just begging dudes to look at you naked for free. Like
I'm pretty sure the way they do that is they have like you can message me for money.
she didn't even have that.
Really, so she's just
I'm not.
full
I'm not gonna say I
full
checked it out.
access.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say I checked it out. I'm not gonna say I saw anything, but I did look at what kind of thing. I clicked the link and I was like, what the fuck? Because
yeah,
you can't see anything unless you log in. But like here she is, completely
yeah,
free, just and it says how many videos and pictures, and it's like
dude.
she can't make enough money off this to counteract the social mental problems that she's gonna have down the road of regret of people bullying her. Like I could
Yeah,
only imagine going on a date with a guy and then finding out you had an OnlyFans. Like guys don't want
there's
to.
it depends on the guy. Well,
That
I think more boys.
I
Guys
don't
who
think
don't
they
take it
want long
seriously.
term.
Yeah, no,
That's what I'm
absolutely
trying to
not.
say. They don't think
No,
about families. They don't think about kids or like
no,
continuing their legacy. They just
bro. When you're young, you're just trying to get in a hole.
degeneracy.
Yeah,
I mean
it don't matter what.
that's the hormones too.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't hear too much of like, dude. I don't know. Something really sad is seeing a 50-plus-year-old porn star that's like still doing porn, and I'm
Right.
like, come on, girl,
I feel like at that point, like they just
invest
gotta
in
be
real estate or something.
they got to be a
Like,
divorced woman that like lacked attention from
yeah,
their man, and like that's their
Sarah J is one.
their
Sarah J's still
serotonin.
doing it. I remember when I was a teenager, that was my girl. It's like 20 years now. I'm like, girl, you got to
Yeah,
push
you
it
got to hang
50.
it out. There's no way
Yeah,
you
I'm
don't
like,
have
that's
enough money to live comfortably. This way.
yeah. It's just, man, I don't know.
Like do some Blue Chew ads or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
put your clothes back on. We don't
yeah.
need to see all that.
Something I'm guilty of. That's like, man, I should stop doing that. Is I'll see a successful, like, hot fitness person, and I'm like, man, I don't know why I do this, right? But somehow, if I click on her links and see she's got an OnlyFans, I'm just like, okay, she's a degenerate. I'm good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
it makes me feel better about myself.
I do the same thing. Like you'll see like a golf content creator. It'll
Yeah,
be a chick that's just wearing tank tops, showing her nipples, like you can see it right through her fucking
yeah,
shit. And she's sitting here just hitting the strokes and like playing it in slow motion. It's like, you know what you're doing.
yeah.
And then you click on her page and she's got an OnlyFans and it's like, okay.
It makes me feel better about not having 2,000. I don't know, how many followers they have, 150, having a K next to it, whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Whether we want to admit it or not, like having a number next to your profile means something nowadays.
Mhm.
Whether that's good or bad, who knows? But it definitely like is a status of something.
I feel like we're gonna come to a point in society to where like all this degenerate shit that is kind of like the word I'd use is I guess brain rot, kind of rotted the youth's brain. I feel like eventually there's gonna be a wave of content that's gonna teach these kids how to get out of it, how to become men, how to mature, how to quit watching porn, vaping, weed, alcohol, all that stuff. I mean, like I feel like there's a wave of positive content that's on the horizon pretty much.
Yeah, yeah,
But until we stop glorifying these OnlyFans and porn websites that make people rich overnight,
yeah. Well, that's the image, I think, right? Because it's still a business, man.
Yeah.
And Andy Frisella said this. Like, kind of agree with him. Like, we think of OnlyFans models as like the girl who's like fucking everybody. But what about like the married couple that's just like into voyeurism or whatever it's called, exhibitionism, the one where you look, right, and like they're doing their thing together as a married couple, and other people are just paying that. Like, is that a lot different than the single girl fucking everybody?
No, I mean like No, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so
I
it's kind of weird.
I could see that, but I mean,
I'm pretty what is it liberal when it comes to that.
yeah,
Um,
I see what you mean. I never
yeah,
thought of it like that.
yeah, because we always imagine the young girl that's like college age that makes
Yeah,
a whole
like
bunch of money.
19, didn't even give the real
Yeah, but
world a
what
shot. Didn't
about
even ever work at McDonald's. Give
exactly?
it a fucking shot.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
what about the married family with kids that does it right and they stick to themselves?
Yeah,
They're doing it, and people just happen to want to watch that,
yeah,
right? So the market decides the worth. You
yeah,
know, that's true in anything.
yeah. No, I completely agree. The
Yeah,
market is fully invested in that right now because it's,
yeah,
it can not only get you rich quick, but I mean, it's longevity. I mean, it's always been here. It's protected by freedom of speech and
yeah,
everything. So it's like, what can you really do other than call it out as a bad habit that could, cause long-term problems, I guess. Like, imagine if the kids ever, saw
yeah.
their
Yeah,
parents
it's a
having
weird thing,
sex.
man. But
That's the cons you got to think to it. But I mean, I understand what you're saying.
yeah, but I also think what is it like? Kids will get adjusted to whatever um, you put them through. For instance, like I don't know, would you want your kids to have a normal childhood if it meant like having a normal life? That makes sense. Like if you make
Yeah,
the same amount of money as like what is it 60 to 80K thousand for the normal experience, or are you comfortable with your kid having a fucking very different life experience as a child, like some of these other millionaire kids who are being raised
yeah,
because they have to be because their parents probably want them to be different in life,
yeah,
right? Like normal experience means normal life.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, let's
So
change the topic from porn stars.
yeah,
What'd you do
we talked all
yesterday?
about porn. Um, dude, I have been trying to. So I got into what is it? Owner finance businesses. So I've been on this big like laundromat car wash hunt for the last
Yeah, those are
21
profitable.
days. Yeah. So I have been. I got a VA. I got like a system down where I have her collect about 100 to 200 leads a day on laundromats or car washes, right? Spanning out from California to Nevada to Texas to now Louisiana, with the goal of acquiring one on owner finance. Because I am sick of like a startup, right? For the last 3 years, I've been in e-commerce products, and I was doing very, very well until market conditions changed, and I went from making 150,000 revenue, working a couple of hours at my desk, bringing home like 60,000 on net, to making like 40. So that changed, and like it's been a big struggle learning to do direct to consumer. So instead of like continuing to pour down all the money that I make to reinvest in the business, I'm like, dude, why don't I just increase my income, my bottom dollar, by acquiring already revenue producing business where I can net it, owner finance, and build my portfolio that way, where it's low overhead, low maintenance, preferably no employees, and do that while I do this, right? Because
Yeah,
my passion has always been uh, what is it like
yeah,
health and supplementation. But like I'm not gonna fool myself, or I'm not gonna like commit myself to how do I say this, man, without fucking it up. I can still make money and still focus on this because I have enough time to do it,
yeah,
right? She's only looking to sell if I give her her what is it, her asking price is 750, so which is fine. I gave her the multiple of 5 for her net, and we should be good. I think I have the offer already structured in my head. How I'm going to do it: offer one, offer two, and then offer two Bravo. Um, if she leans to one side or the other,
huh.
So yeah, and then
So
this
you're kind of
weekend.
like the middleman, or
No, no, no. So owner finance is when it works two ways, right? You can do seller finance or creative finance, right? Seller finance is when they own the property outright, and what you do is essentially it has to be the right seller first of all, right? Typically, someone who's older, someone who is tired of operating the business or managing the business and wants to focus more on life. That's the first thing, right? It's going to be rare to find somebody that is hungry in acquisition mode to get this kind of deal, right? So first thing is find the right seller, right? Second thing, the way seller finance works is they own the property outright. So what you do essentially, if it's cash producing, it's like, hey, let's say it's making 10,000 net, right? You make an offer on it, and then you make an offer on the asking price, right? So how that conversation works is up to you, right? Like, hey, how much do you think it's worth? Now, industry standards usually it has been as low as 3 as a multiplier of the net income on that year, all the way up to 6.3. Nowadays, it's gonna be really hard to find anything on a good deal. Everything's gonna be, probably overpriced, probably hitting that 6.3, even 6.5 upper range. But once you get to that, right, then you ask about like what do they want to do, right? Typically, if they just want like a monthly paycheck, that'll work, right? If they want a down payment, you can structure that into the deal as well. Where hey, look, let's say I'll pay you $3,000 in the principal, and then I'll pay you like $3,000 in interest. Now that sounds crazy to some people, but if you're paying no money down and you acquire a cash producing business,
Yeah.
you're still pocketing $4,000, right?
Yeah.
Now, depending how active you want to be in the business, you can do the math. That's $48,000 a year on top of what you're doing. This isn't to like replace your income. This is to supplement your income, right? On a low maintenance operation, right? You still have like what I mean. This is kind of like semi passive. What I mean by that is like a lot of people say, "Hey, passive as I can not pay attention to the business and it pays me." No, like
There's still some
passive for
risk to
me,
it.
yeah,
there's
passive
still
for me,
risk.
as in like I can visit it once a week for a couple hours, make sure it's good, implement systems where I don't have to be there, right? Even hire somebody out, and I'd be like, even if I only make $2,000 because I got to hire somebody to like manage part of the operation, I'm cool with it. Want to know why? Because I'm not touching it, right?
Yeah.
The point of this is for me to like be able to,
It's kind of lower risk.
yeah, because I'm reselling water. I'm doing like
You're doing the
that's-
Jake Paul.
yeah, so that's what I'm doing, right? I like the only thing I have to offer is detergent, soap, and water resold in machinery that they can wash their clothes,
Huh.
right? So you're always gonna people are always gonna be broke, so they're always gonna need laundry and laundry and car washes, and even if like the tunnel car washes that we have, a lot of people don't like that shit because it doesn't do a good job of actually cleaning it.
Yeah, I've heard it's actually bad on your paint too.
Yeah,
for your
there you
car.
go. So people like to wash their own cars and like have the entire experience, right?
Yeah.
Personally, I hate that shit. I
Throw
pay
some
someone to do
gambling
it.
machines in there.
Yeah,
they can
exactly,
gamble while
man.
they're waiting on
Yeah.
their dryer. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
They do that in Illinois, and that's actually super profitable. I don't know if it's legal here to gamble with the slot machines.
Really?
I don't know anything.
I know depending on the area, the county. I know we had them in was it Maverick County or whatever?
Yeah, in my small hometown in Illinois, I mean, we have what's called a wash and win,
Yeah.
and it's just a laundromat
Mhm.
with gambling machines. I mean, I have never experienced gambling machines, so I really don't know what the hype is behind them. But I see people that
Yeah.
it's bad, like addicted bad. But I mean, that's
Yeah, I
that's
got
their choice.
ADHD, so like any kind of dopamine, like
Yeah,
any kind of dopamine, dude, I'll like an addict, dude. Gambling was one of them. I went to Vegas.
I like
once.
sports betting.
Yeah,
I like stuff that you can kind of predict, but
Predict.
like I don't like pressing a button and just hoping it's computerized.
dude.
to
What's
let
that
me win.
game? Roulette.
Oh yeah,
Roulette?
with the wheel.
Dude, I'm horrible at that.
Yeah,
I'll always remember this. I swear this game was rigged because
I've heard they
how-
have muscle memory.
dude.
Like when they spin it, like
Yeah.
how Steph Curry makes a
It
living
was-
just shooting threes.
yeah, it was on a fucking on a computer one, right?
Oh.
So
Yeah, I
tell me
don't
how
trust that
like,
shit.
dude, I was like, I'm gonna be done. I was up $1,600, right? I'm gonna be done, and I'm betting on black, and it keeps hitting red, right? And I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? All right. I'm just gonna double and get out. I doubled not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5, not 6, not 7, 8 times. I'm running to the ATM to get enough money to pull it out, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna double again. I'm gonna break even. I'm gonna need to leave out of here. How the fuck has it hit red or red 8 times? I'm like, all right, I get the money. I put the money down. It lands on green, dude. Just I have never experienced such a whole depression.
What'd you bet on, like red or black?
Yeah, so like it lands on either a black, a
You
red.
just put it on a times 2,
Yeah,
like a multiplier.
yeah. At that point, I was done with it. You could do other things. You can play the numbers, right? You can play a leverage thing where you put on the
yeah, and
the
it's a higher
rows.
multiplier for the.
Yeah, dude, it gets really addicting, right? So when I went to Vegas, my rule used to be like, I'm gonna sit down here and essentially get 2 free drinks out of it. That's how I justify playing the game, and then I leave.
Yeah.
And then typically that's like I lose $20 to $40.
The only time I've came out of a casino profitable, and I only really played blackjack,
Yeah.
was I went in there sober and I was only drinking water, and they're
Yeah.
giving me free waters, but they were like hounding me, trying to get me to drink.
Yeah.
It got to a point where they weren't even offering it. They were like, no, we'll
Yeah.
just bring you one. And I'm like, no, I'm doing this completely separate. Walked out of there with 900, completely knew when to walk away. But if I had kept drinking, or if they would have let me start drinking,
Bro, my first time playing blackjack, I had no idea how to put the chips, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like he gave me $100. I just put it on the betting table. I didn't know that was like you bet all that. I'm like, sweet, my first time. He knew it was my first time. Gets like a blackjack and takes all of it. It's like, wait, what's going on? what just happened? He's like, yeah, you bet all of it. I was like, what?
That's shitty.
Yeah.
Normally, the blackjack dealers will kind of help you out if you like
Yeah.
ask them like what to do. But I hate playing with people that take it so seriously. Because if I'm there and I got like the book says not to hit on like a 12 or a 13 or whatever. If I want to hit on a fucking 12 or 13, you know,
Yeah.
it's my money. But at the same time, I can see how it fucks the person next to me or helps the dealer win if I don't do it right.
Yeah.
So it's like I hate the people that, but at the same time, it's their money. That's what I hate about blackjack is how you're playing with multiple people and you really don't know whose personality is what, you know. So
Yeah. I get intimidated, man, because they're looking at me like I expect me to take one for the team, or when they help me out, I feel like I got to take one for the team, and I want to take one for the team, dude. I'm just here to get free Bloody Marys.
yeah, right. Well, I mean, I really didn't know a whole lot about like what doubling down was.
Yeah.
When you put your original bet and then you put another bet there, and the next card you get, that's your only card. I'd have people help me out. They're like, no, double on that, and I'm like, you sure? I thought I was supposed to. And like, no, fuck that. And they'll take their own chips and they'll put it next to mine. And they're like, here, use that, and we'll split it. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? We'll split it. But yeah.
All right, what else we got?
So
So we talked about last time Yellow Ribbon. This time, what is it? I guess we can go with Voc Rehab, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, because I mean, I need to learn this too.
Yeah, so vocational, like if you don't know, my last year of school, they kept telling me to go Voc Rehab because it was a science degree, and you know anything with health, you can't do jack shit with like an undergrad degree, and I feel bad for people who like, honestly, my college experience is pretty cool, getting paid. My university cost $50,000 to $70,000 a year, right, and I was getting paid like well over that to go to school. And I remember talking to one of my peers, and she was telling me how she got hired at some psychology lab or some like research lab doing I don't know what, but she got experience, right? We were all like clinical students working with whatever our research was. I think hers was behavioral psychology, but you still go through like a lab portion, right? They were going to offer her $14 an hour with the undergraduate degree. Sad, pathetic. That's what you get with undergrad, right? With anything that's health and science, other than engineering. So, for me to get any kind of like real employment, you have to get at least a master's in biology, right? So when I applied for Voc Rehab, you take like a mini ASVAB. They say not to cheat on it or use a calculator because they want to assess that you can do what you say you want to do on the Voc Rehab. Just cheat, like it's a career, you know. Because I want to be a professor, and maybe sometime in the future I will be studying BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is released in exercise. It's released when you take psilocybin. It's released when you do dancing, like anything that's high motor movement seems to release the brain, this BDNF chemical that can help with neurogenesis of the brain. But the point is, Voc Rehab, they offered, once I got approved and my plan was approved, they offered to pay for all your equipment that's needed for that degree, as long as it makes sense for your degree plan, right? That's how I got this $2,000 MacBook Pro for free, right? And that my story is like low scale. I know guys who got in like a 3D printer because they were an engineer and they were doing Voc Rehab and they need this. And that's like a couple $1,000 printer on top of the printer ink, on top of the laptop, on top of anything that could be justified for your degree. It'll get paid for. You fill out a sheet and you have to give like 3 options, right? So for the sheet, it was like, well, I could put a MacBook Air, a MacBook Pro, and something else, or I could just put 3 different variations of the MacBook Pro, which are all pretty much there. So I ended up getting like somewhere in the middle, right? It was like $2,200. It came with Apple Care, which is like for 5 years, I believe, and insured for free. So crazy. And then they're gonna pay for my PhD up until I was teaching classes. So that's 2 to 3 years. And for you nerds out there that get into a PhD, like if you get into a PhD, it's stipend. So you get like shit money, right? So it really only works if you're a veteran. But they pay you anywhere from 30,000 to 42,000 depending on your degree in school. And typically the way it works is like, hey, if you can, we can pay for your first way, second way you gotta figure it out. But if you're getting paid at 30,000, that doesn't you still get paid your Voc Rehab, which is the same BAH as you do for GI Bill. So you get paid your Voc Rehab, the GI Bill, and your
all
VA.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
Huh. So
Yeah.
as a business management degree, since I'm not an engineer or it's not a specific work field,
Yeah.
if I'm wanting to start up my own videography company, would I be able to use business management and say, hey, I'm trying to
Yeah.
manage my own business, but I need the equipment to do that?
I think honestly, man, just surface level suggestion. I would switch to videography because everything you're gonna learn in business is gonna be doing business,
Okay.
right? And if
Yeah.
you switch, you'll at least get the equipment paid for, right? Which
So
is
I
gonna be
can
the
switch
startup
my
cost.
degree and
Yeah.
they'll accept it.
Yeah. So switch the degree
Okay.
first.
Well, I got my associates.
Yeah.
So does that matter if I
No.
already have a degree? So I can switch it and then
Yeah.
just be like, all right, this is what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. You'll go through an interview process. It takes a while for them to get to you, but once they get to you, the process about 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you
So
get
I'll
switched.
probably start talking to them now and then hopefully
Yeah.
by the end of this semester that I'm in.
Yeah. And I've known people who got their entire doctorate covered. So it was a counselor, actually our veteran liaison at Chapman University, right? So he got his undergrad paid for, his master's paid for, and his doctorate paid for. That's 8 years of schooling paid for
Yeah.
with BAH.
You just got to take advantage of the benefits they give you.
Yeah.
We're at 32, so you want to wrap her up?
Yeah. Is there anything else we got to go over? So
Not that I can think of.
Yeah.
I think we went over some pretty
yeah.
good stuff.
So N State, if you have a long ass degree that you know you're gonna get a shit job with undergraduate, like do Voc Rehab because it will pay for everything.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
there you go.
All right, well, that's episode 2. So
Let's do it.
had a good one.